Well, of course, I mean, there's shock throughout Germany after this vicious attack last night, and people really are beginning to get worried about this rise in knife crime in Germany. I mean, Germany traditionally hasn't had much knife crime, but in the past year or so there have been several knife attacks. A policeman was killed in a knife attack just in June in the city of Mannheim in central Germany. And then, of course, last night this dreadful attack at this Festival of Diversity, celebrating 650 years of this industrial city there in the industrial Ruhr region of Germany. The Interior Ministry, Nancy Faeser, has said that she wants to bring forward laws to reduce the size of blades which people can carry in public, which may be controversial in Germany, which is a nation of hunters, of people who enjoy getting out into the countryside and using knives for peaceful purposes. But such is the anxiety at the moment that that is something which is quite likely to be voted through when it's put before Parliament.
Tell us about this other arrest, Nick, because I think there was a moment a few hours ago today where we heard an arrest has been made. I think a lot of people, particularly in Solingen, there was a thought that, OK, well, the manhunt must be over, but this is somebody that's said to be linked to the perpetrator, but is not the perpetrator.
Well, this is a 15-year-old boy who was arrested at his parents' apartment this morning. Apparently, a couple of witnesses, two women, went to the police after the attacks and said that they had overheard recently a conversation between two young men, one of whom they identified as that boy who's been arrested. Now, the police are saying definitely he's not the perpetrator. He is believed to have known about the attack before it took place, and he hasn't been charged yet, but if he's charged, he would be charged with not informing the authorities when he knew of an attack that had been planned. As for the perpetrator, they're still hunting for him. The police were rather reticent this afternoon at the press conference to give any further details about this boy or exactly how they'd come upon him, but the German press is quite widely reporting that this was as a result of conversation that was overheard. In addition to that, some knives have been found in the centre of Solingen, including one deposited in a dustbin. Whether they're connected to the attack or not, we don't know. Solingen is actually the centre of the knife-making industry in Germany. I mean, for centuries, this is where quality knives have come from, which is rather and sadly ironic given the circumstances of the attack last night. The other thing which has emerged today, although there's not been really much speculation at all online about who may have carried out this attack, it has been seized upon by the far right-wing party, the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland, with one of their leading candidates, Björn Höcke, saying, this is enough. Do you really want to live in a state where we have to continue putting up with this sort of multiculturalism? So the right wing are beginning to seize upon this because it was a multicultural festival of diversity at which this attack took place last night, although the police have not identified motives apart from the public prosecutor suggesting that there may have been a terrorist motive in this attack last night.
And meanwhile, this huge manhunt continues. Solingen, you talk about, there's supposed to be this weekend-long festivities all cancelled, some taking place in nearby towns. Big question over that and worry clearly from people living there about what should you do, where can you go out? This continues, and you have a lot of police, security forces. I can tell you, I felt the force of what it feels like in North Rhine-Westphalia when there was a big police chase on. Go back to 2016, the Berlin markets attack. There was a suspect they thought was in North Rhine-Westphalia. We were just in the vicinity. We got stopped by 9 huge armed police cars and questioned for about an hour or so. So you get a sense of what that activity will be like now, Nick. Just in terms of where we go from here for the next couple of days, is there any sense that you're hearing about those other towns that are holding festivities? Do they continue? Do they cancel them? What's the situation? What are people saying in and around the town?
I mean, I think there's very much the feeling that people should continue as normal and not be intimidated by this. I mean, of course, in those other festivities, there will be a much larger police presence.
Nick, always great to talk to you. Speak to you again very soon when we have an update. Nick Holdsworth, our correspondent.